When Overwatch released, it ended the more than decade-long period Blizzard Entertainment went without releasing a new IP. Naturally, that came with a lot of pressure to perform. The highly anticipated team-based shooter released a week ago, and so far, it's living up to my expectations. Overwatch is an online-only team-based shooter that has been described as a mix between Pixar and Team Fortress 2. Although Blizzard excels at storytelling, Overwatch only comes with a multiplayer mode, making its lack of story mode one of my biggest gripes with the game. The multiplayer is great, but they've created a terrific universe that they're refusing to take advantage of. They're pushing out digital shorts to tell the story instead.
To all agents of Overwatch.
These are phenomenally done, but they just make me long for story mode even more. Alas, since I am stuck with only a multiplayer, I'm glad they at least produced a good one. I'd expect nothing less from Blizzard. The company has a track record of producing polished games, and Overwatch is no exception. It's one of the smoothest shooters I've ever played, and it also doesn't suffer from server errors such as Diablo 3's Error 37. Overwatch has run smoothly for me since day one, and the queue times on PS4 have been relatively short. My favorite part about Overwatch is that it doesn't use the played-out traditional shooter format, aka it's not team deathmatch. With different roles for the characters, it makes traditional escort and capture modes feel more innovative. As I mentioned in my Battleborn review, I'm not usually a huge fan of multiplayer shooters because frankly I'm pretty bad at them. But with the option to play support and defense characters, I have a role in Overwatch that I otherwise wouldn't have if the game were set up like Call of Duty. Additionally, with so many characters to choose from, you can find a hero to play that doesn't require your aim to be perfect. Junkrat and Pharah, for example, basically just shoot rockets, so as long as you're aiming in the general direction of your target, you're probably doing some damage. With a roster of 21 characters, it's important that they are all balanced and everyone is on a level playing field. I think for the most part, Blizzard did achieve this. There are some characters that I think could use a nerf, namely Torbjorn and Mei. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a frequent user of Torbjorn's turrets, especially when defending the Temple of Anubis. However, if I'm being fair, his turrets are a little too quick, too accurate, and too powerful. I've also heard complaints about Bastion, Pharah, and Junkrat, but personally I haven't experienced problems with them yet. Conversely, there are probably a few characters that could benefit from a buff. Mercy, for instance, is pretty vulnerable if her teammates aren't protecting her. Blizzard has said that one of the keys to the game is character flexibility. In other words, you're encouraged to switch characters throughout the match based on the situation. It'll be interesting to see if Blizzard decides to buff or nerf characters going forward, or if they will instead continue to encourage people to avoid mains and become proficient in a handful of characters to counter any situation. One change that I desperately want Blizzard to implement is a cap on the number of one character on any given team. Playing against teams of all Winston or all Reinhardt is frustrating, and while my team was successful in defeating the Winstons, it just dragged on and was thoroughly annoying. Similarly, playing against a team of multiple Torbjorns and their turrets is nearly impossible. The only character I found that can sometimes counter a turret is Reinhardt and his Fire Strike. Overwatch comes with 12 maps and 4 game modes. Although I personally do not have this problem with the game, one drawback I could see for some players is the inability to choose a game mode. Once you've selected Quick Play, Overwatch randomly throws you into one of the 4 modes: Assault, Escort, Hybrid, and Control. If you leave once you figured out you're playing a mode you hate, the game will slap you with a leaver penalty. In addition to Quick Play, you can also play against the AI, create a custom game, or play the Weekly Brawl, which is a rotating game with unique rules. It's basically Overwatch's version of the Hearthstone Tavern Brawl. At the end of every match, Overwatch selects a play of the game. While this is a neat idea, I don't think Blizzard did a good job of programming it. It favors characters like Junkrat, Torbjorn, and Bastion, and often glitches out so that you can't even see why someone received the play of the game. Now, this is a minor issue that doesn't really impact the performance of the game, but I thought it was worth mentioning just in case this sort of thing is a deal breaker for you. Overall, I think Blizzard did a fine job in producing their first new IP in over a decade. Overwatch is smooth, polished, and charming. The game works in the first week that it's out, which is more than we can say for some of the games we've seen in the last year. But all kidding aside, this game really is well done. If team-based shooters aren't your thing, then don't bother wasting your money. And if you don't like the idea of learning multiple characters, don't bother wasting your team's time. However, if you like the idea of playing a diverse set of characters with vastly different skills, and like the idea of playing a competitive objective-based game, Overwatch is worth your money.